don't know what's going on, because normally I'm used to seeing in my line of work the police unions rolling with the crooked officers.
Blindly rolling with
Yeah, and in fact,
what they did.
I had the police union in Tyler, Texas, Smith County, Tyler, Texas, try to come for me because I don't know if you remember that happened last year. It was a young lady that stole something out of a Family Dollar, and that officer had that fist, and he was beating her down and everything. And I went down there, so I did a dog whistle on that. The police union down there did a whole video on me. I'm like, oh, so we want to do some videos? Okay, but then let me pull your actual scorecard so the community will know that you're full of shit. These people that spending their tax dollars and y'all over here not doing what you're supposed to do. Matter of fact, I'm going to pull everybody T-code records in here. I want to see who run around here that's been here for this long period of time that haven't been to no other policing agency. I even want to know about your trainings, because it looked like to me that your ass is running around here just signing a folder and you're not even doing the damn training. I'm going to put a belt on everybody's down there. So I'm going to drop the hammer on every last one of you white jokers down there. Baby, I say, do another video. And then I started digging up dirt on everybody. I said, I'm going to dig in your taxes. I'm going to dig in everything. I'm going to have them people coming in now, because I'm about sick of y'all. But the thing is, that's what I'm used to. I'm used to being on the offensive when you're dealing with this type of stuff. But to see this, it kind of took me back a little, like, oh, I ain't know that they had a letter. Like, oh, okay. Maybe we moved something in the right direction. I don't know. Maybe it was the cigar. Maybe it was the belt. I don't know.
What's the status on her? Well, I know she was fired, but what's the next move for you? Because I know you're not done with it.
Oh, absolutely not. So basically when I got the information, all that, I called and talked to the leadership of HPD, and I was like, I know damn well we not finna have this up in here. Because, baby, I would activate all them Black Panther chapters, baby. We're going to stir some shit down here in Houston. And then they was like, no, she's been, relieved of duty and things like that. But she also is under investigation, IED investigation. I'm like, okay, but that's not enough. I said, let me express to you my demands. My demands at this point right now, every last one of those cases need to be investigated who she touched that are African American. That needs to happen foremost first. Yeah. Then the second thing is that I want her T-code license. I want them gone.
Now explain to us what that is.
So the T-code license is the actual licensure here in Texas for police officers. They have to go through the T-code process and be certified in order to be a peace officer in Texas. Okay. They also monitor their training hours and things of that such. And then you can also, it's available to the public where you want to do a public information request on any officer that you want to find out where they worked, everything. Because see, what I've noticed about being in this activism game, when you're dealing with this racism stuff, we got people that look like us and do the same shit. And one of them, I put a belt on his ass too, that was in Harris County a couple months ago when we was over in Haverstock. And he did some foolishness. And so when I went and did investigating on him and we pulled his T-code history, I looked at every police agency that he worked for. So that's the first step. The second step, you go directly to the police agency and request the police records. And when I requested every record where this guy worked at, he was problematic from the beginning. I even knew exactly what school you came from. He came from the University of Houston downtown. So I turned around and I called Sheriff Ed Gonzalez and I called his leadership team. I say, y'all better get this sucker here off that force because he did this, and he did that. So by this time, I said, I need to do a complaint. And the person who he wrongfully put in jail need to get a complaint done as well too. So we went on and got that done. And then by this time, you know me, I'm a blast you on social media. I'm worse than 50 Cent, as you know. And that's when the community will come out and the community will start telling us things about this guy. And they actually had video. This was a guy that was driving fast and reckless in a neighborhood area in Greenspoint. Okay, and then bullying the community and everything. I say, yeah, I got something for you too. So at the end of the day, it's actually a tool that the community can use when you're dealing with T-code.
What's the greatest tool that the community can use to to get some justice against rogue cops. What is this? If you had to name a single greatest tool that you use, what's that tool? Because that needs to be more. Dr. Candice Matthews is out there.
Right.
You should not be an anomaly. You should not be an anomaly. It should be very normal for all citizens, for us to have obviously everybody can't be an activist. Everybody ain't cut out to be an activist.
Right, of course.
But it shouldn't be like what you're doing should not be like something that we look at and we say, man, that's extremely brave of her. Like it should be normal, right?
Yeah.
So what's that? How are you so effective?
Well, one, how am I so effective is that, I make sure that I know the Texas penal codes. You know what I mean? You want to know the laws that governs them. Okay? That's one. You want to know the policies that governs them, right? Then two, you want to know who's in leadership in these certain areas and build relationships with these people. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's good or bad, but build it. And so they would know that this is something that I'm not going to play with. Also, the exposure piece is very, very, very vital because you want to ensure when these suckers doing what they're not supposed to do, you want to be able to expose it with direct evidence, not hearsay. Because then that damages your credibility. And credibility is a must. You want to have that in place. And even with the exposure, you also want to touch the everyday person. You want to let the everyday person know, like I did with her, who all had any type of interaction with this woman. We need to do a call to action. Okay. And then see, that's the difference between the news media and a real activist and advocate.
Yeah, I got that follow through.
Yeah, that's the difference. Because we can call, like with me, I didn't master it. Because guess what? I have my own media team that used to work for the news stations. They work for me now. Okay. Then on top of that, I have the platform. Like I have more followers than the average news station, combined with all of my social media platforms. Then I also have a huge 1 million email list where I can email articles. Then we can go directly into Newsbreak and have the online articles from the news people that work for me create just like the news stations, and we send it out. Then I have resources where I got everybody number where I can send text messages to anybody across the United States. See, the key is awareness, but you have to have the evidence to back it up. Just like that video evidence, it's a shock value. That's how you get stuff to move.